Pope Francis, on the Feast of the Holy Family in Vatican City on December the 27th, made a statement that has been getting some attention lately. I'll leave a link to the story in its entirety in the description box if you want to read it for yourself. But the article reads, "The Pope reflected on the Sunday reading from the Gospel of Luke, in which a young Jesus stayed in Jerusalem in the temple, causing great distress to Mary and Joseph when they could not find him. For this little escapade, Jesus probably had to beg forgiveness of his parents." The Pope suggested, "The Gospel doesn't say this, but I believe that we can presume it." Now, I don't believe that we can presume this at all, and I don't think any true Christian or faithful student of the Bible would come to such a conclusion. Because the implication here is that Jesus had committed a sin. Because if you need to beg forgiveness from someone, that means you had committed a sin against them. However, that is contrary to the scriptures, because the Bible says Jesus was sinless. Speaking of Jesus, 1 John chapter 3 verse 5 states, "You know that he appeared in order to take away sins, and in him there is no sin." Not to mention, in the story from Luke, when Jesus got lost and was later found in the temple by his parents, chapter 2 verses 48 through 49 states, "And when they saw him, they were amazed, and his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing. And he said unto them, How is it that ye sought me? Wist ye not that I must be about my Father's business?" Therefore, Jesus was doing nothing wrong. He was simply fulfilling the will of his Father. This isn't the first time the Pope has said something to undermine Jesus and the Bible. For example, on October the 19th, 2015, the Christian Post reported that Pope Francis said the Bible is a highly dangerous book. And October the 2nd, charismaticnews.com reported that Pope Francis stated that Jesus' life was a failure while addressing St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City. Why do I think the Pope is saying these things? I think he's saying them to subliminally condition people to not take the Bible or the stories in the Bible literally. This will set people up to be deceived and receive the mark of the beast. You see, the issue of the mark of the beast is going to be over the 10 Commandments. Revelation chapter 14 verses 11 through 12, in speaking about those who worship the beast and receive his image, and the saints of God, describe the saints of God as they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. By deduction, that means that those who receive the mark of the beast won't keep the commandments of God. Before Jesus returns, he will have prepared a people that follow him so closely that they no longer give in to any of the devil's temptations. They will no longer commit any willful sins. The Bible calls them the 144,000. Revelation chapter 14 verses 4 through 5 says, "They follow the Lamb, which is a symbol for Jesus, wherever he goes, and in their mouth is no guile or deceit, and they are without fault before the throne of God." The devil knows that Jesus wants to cleanse and empower a special people for himself before he returns, to demonstrate the character of a loving God in their lives and proclaim the truths of the gospel to a dying world, to prepare others to meet the Lord at his return. To counter this work of God, the devil inspires individuals, like the Pope, to say things to undermine Jesus and the Bible, so that people won't take the Bible literally. Because if they won't take the Bible literally, then they won't obey the Bible.